All right. Hello, hello. I'm here today with Diana Safarios. And yes, and she joined the Circle of Success back in January, one of our founding members, and she's just done all sorts of awesome things, and she agreed to sit down with me tonight and just share a little bit about where she was at in her career, some of the wins that she's experienced so we can help celebrate her with those and some of the patterns that she shifted to get there. So thank you so much, Diana.
Thank you.
Yeah, before we jump in, I didn't even ask you, where are you located?
I am in Columbus, Ohio.
Okay, so I grew up in Michigan. I'm actually in Michigan right now. So
I
yeah, so Midwesterners.
yes.
Yeah. So tell me, when you joined in January, so about 6 months ago, what where were things at in your career and kind of what were you looking to achieve?
I just felt like I wanted to be more confident in my business analysis skills. I was doing the work and I'm doing good work, but I wasn't always able to um, appear as if I were confident. I was sort of lacking that confidence, coming across confidence, which is really important because I'm in consulting, and so you do want to have that confidence about you.
Mhm.
And so I always felt like not only did I feel it, but obviously it was apparent, because I got that sort of feedback from management. So I knew it was something I needed to work on, and it sounded like your class was going to be perfect for exactly that. So that's what got
Yeah. So kind of
what.
looking to like you had the skills, you had the role, you were in a solid position, but
Yeah,
just knew you wanted to. And I hear that a lot. Like I have everything's going okay, but like more confidence. Like I just always have that shred of doubt that's like running in the back of my mind.
right.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah. So tell me, I mean, you've had so many wins after the last few months, or in the last few months, and what stands out for you in particular?
Well, I certainly do feel more confident, and part of that is taking action, um,
Hmm.
even in the face of fear. One of the key things I also remember is that that fear is really never going to go away so long as confidence is not the absence of fear.
Right.
And like, okay, I get it, and you're always going to sort of feel that fear if you're growing. And so recognizing that, and just taking action, and really part of taking action that really does kind of create confidence
Yeah.
is what I learned. It's
And
really been a.
what are some of the actions? Yeah, for sure. Like the fear is always there, right? And like taking action anyways. So what are some
Yeah.
of the actions that you took along the way?
So one of the kind of big ones, that kind of opportunities that came up for me, was we have a grad academy where we put new recent college graduates, we've hired, and we put them through our training program.
Hmm.
And so I was kind of encouraged to do that as part of development, just leadership, within my position. And so that was something I was like, that's something I can do. I mean, I don't feel like I can do, but I should do, and it's a good.
Hmm.
So I made myself volunteer for this grad academy, and we had a project that we worked with the grads on. And so I was, talking with them about requirements. And so that was kind of a big um, step for me to A, do that, and then B, I also, in doing that, kind of recognized that I do know what I'm doing. It also gave me confidence, kind of
Hmm.
getting the nods from the other BA that I was partnering with during this particular class. So, and then out of that, one of the persons attending, the new grads, requested that I be their mentor. So that really was a nice little boost of confidence too. So that was one kind of big one for me. But lots of little ones that kind of added up over time. Just taking those actions, like action. I can't stress enough how much that kind of really does boost your confidence. Even you feel like, oh, I'm gonna when I feel confident I'm going to do X. Well, it really doesn't work that way. And
Right.
so I tried it out. I kind of just had to try that out myself, like just taking the action. And
Mm-hmm.
you know, it has worked. I like I was saying, you know, I feel like it's being noticed from others that I'm working with and who've noticed a change, and just taking on more, you know, leadership type of things, just jumping in and doing things, even if I didn't really know quite, wasn't super confident about it, I just did it
Yeah.
anyway.
And one of the wins I remember you sharing was kind of even just like asking the questions. You're like, I see these gaps, and there was kind of when in the context of taking action, like you had been a little afraid to maybe like I'm the only one that has this gap, right? And part of what that action was like pointing that out and then seeing like, oh no, actually there was a gap here, and you got to be proactive about that. Is
Yeah,
that yeah,
you're exactly right. And
yeah.
I think sometimes also, you know, I had was on this project with someone who, you know, I respect and that I think is intelligent, and they were kind of having the same questions that I was, and so that also kind of helped boost my
Mhm.
confidence in asking that question too. But um, it was just validating that, okay, you know, it's not really a dumb question. So
Yeah.
just take, and you know, I won't always have that, but at least I'll always be able to, I think, ask that question, because one of the things is, you know, like trusting yourself, and I try to remind myself all the time, like, you know, trust yourself. Like, why don't
Mhm.
you trust yourself? Like, I spend all kinds of time rechecking and rechecking. It's like, why don't you trust yourself? You put so much effort into making things, you know, being accurate, that um, don't check that fifth time. Okay,
Yeah.
you're probably, you know, it's
You
probably
probably
okay.
got
So,
awesome, awesome. And you mentioned that people are also noticing the change in you. Like,
mhm.
can you share some specifics around that?
So my practice director just kind of said, I just happened to have a conversation with her today, and she was, you know, a position has actually come up. You know, as I mentioned, I'm in consulting, and so there's a need for a BA at a particular client whom I never thought I would be, you know, put in front of. You know, kind of more known to be sort of difficult. That's my impression. I don't know for
Mm.
sure. That's the impression I got, and I was like, oh gosh, you know, that will never happen. Well, guess what? Today that actually happened. Like, they want to put me in front of this client. So I'm like, wow, just things seem to be kind of coming together. And she, you know, she was saying she had seen a lot of growth, you know, and over the past year. And so, and I think it's showing in the different opportunities that are coming up for me, and just some different positive
Yeah.
things that I already mentioned with like the mentor. And she was super
Yeah.
thrilled to do that. And yeah, I'm like,
Yeah.
this
That's
kinds of
exciting. It's
things.
exciting. I feel like it's like we're talking now, but I also just like want to see a year from now, right? Like I can't wait, like because I feel so much has happened, and like, what is this going to create? It's super
Yeah,
exciting. Yeah,
oh, yeah.
that's what gets me out of bed in the morning. So tell
Yeah.
me, I mean, one of our big things that we do in the Circle Success is like reframe, and you've mentioned reframing. So what are some of the like the patterns that you've had to shift or reframe as part of achieving some of these successes?
Um, well, you know, feeling stupid, like asking the dumb question, right? But
Yeah.
um, uh, recognizing that, how did I sort of lost my train of thought? Um, oh, I know one of the things early on that I kind of discovered with you is that, you know, was feeling stupid because I felt like I was slow, kind of slow at learning or absorbing things. And you know, one key thing you mentioned to me in our community was that, you know, I was making a comparison between being smart and being fast. And
Hmm.
that's, you know, that's not necessarily, that doesn't mean, you know, you're smart or dumb or whatever. It's like it's how you process information and doing that deeper analysis. And that was like a really big kind of light bulb that went off for me. And
Hmm.
I had kind of forgotten about, because it was sort of early on in the beginning of this 6 months, you know, journey. So
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, and that's such a big one, right? Because it holds you back in that fear. True,
Mhm.
for sure, for sure. And anything around taking action, like that, it sounded like just like working through the fear, like the fear is still there, but you're moving forward anyways, right? Anything else come to mind around that?
Meaning like specific actions that
Yeah, like or reframes that you made. Yeah.
mm, gosh, it's just so often, just being negative about, oh, that was a dumb question, and really just kind of challenging that. Um, that's a lot of my, at least, negative self-talk, these
Mm-hmm.
limiting like beliefs. You can't do that, or and trying to kind of change that, just saying, "Oh, I can, yes, I can," and um, maybe the other part of it is like this perfectionism that I was
Mm-hmm.
sort of kind of working on as a current lesson, and
Yeah.
recognizing like I volunteered to do a like a PowerPoint presentation. I said I would do it, and and recognizing I probably didn't have like a lot of time to do it, but I was like, be good enough.
Mm-hmm.
Having to change that, like it's good enough. Instead of having to have it perfect, has kind of freed me up to take more action, like
Mm-hmm.
because I would often feel I would not even try because I feel like I couldn't do it, rather than just trying, and
Yeah.
so
Yeah. So what's next for you? What do you hope? Like I got excited seeing you a year from now, but what would you hope that a year from now looks like? Yeah.
just to really feel confident, and to should this new opportunity come to fruition, like kind of proving to myself, I kind of told my practice director, I'm like, the real test, for me is like going to that new client,
Mm-hmm.
and feeling more confident from the get-go, and doing the things that getting the answers sooner than later. I would often kind of want to learn everything first and then ask questions, and I'm like, sometimes you just have to go and be a little more aggressive about talking to the stakeholders and getting answers from them sooner
Mm-hmm.
than later. So
Yeah.
just having more courage to do that.
And which will be required, I think, for a difficult client, right? So
Well,
you'll have opportunity to work
yeah,
through that again.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I feel like just you know continue to take those being leading, and continue to do the leading type things that I've found myself doing more of
Yeah.
lately, and just continue on that path. And
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for your time. Before we go, any closing thoughts or comments? Any last words that you want to share to those listening in that are inspired by your to follow in your footsteps?
oh gosh, no, I
That's a
don't know.
big question.
Yeah, I mean, I
Yeah.
wish I had wisdom, but I can't say enough like how much taking action has really helped me.
Hmm.
Um, and if the things don't work out exactly how you want to, you're still stronger for having tried. Like, give yourself credit
Yeah.
for it, having tried, and that took courage, and that you know that's something to feel good about. So.
Yeah, yeah. Well, thank you so much for sharing your story, and it's been an honor to watch you over the last 6 months, and I'm excited to see what happens over the next 6 or the next 12. So
I
very
appreciate
exciting. Yeah. All right.
mean, honestly, I wouldn't have started my BA career had it not been for you. I honestly found your
Oh,
site where I was looking for a career change, and I thought I like really like analysis. I'm like, business analysis sounds good, and I started doing more research and learning more about it, and realizing, from your website that I had, BA skills that
mhm.
I didn't even realize, and it's really how I even ended up getting this job. So I've been on
Wow.
this journey with you for, over 5 years now.
Oh,
So
wow.
you.
Yeah. Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. It's always good to hear that. All right. Thank you, Diana. Thanks, everyone.